Okay, so I just want to do this video on this 7-year-old kid called Nahel. Nahel? Can't remember how they pronounce his name. He basically got shot by police in a traffic stop and it's caused a lot of rioting in France and a huge amount of trouble. And it sort of reminded me of George Floyd. I wanted to do a video on George Floyd when it happened because I sort of investigated and I came up with a totally different perspective on it after I uh, tracked down the body cam videos from the actual two police officers and had a look at it all and came to a completely different perspective on how it all unfolded. There was actually a black guy, an old gentleman, who basically said to George Floyd, "You know, you're not going to win, mate. You're not going to win. What are you doing? You're not going to win." And this sort of thing got totally buried by mainstream media. They didn't want to have the narrative that somebody of color was actually on the police's side. So if you want to find the video of George Floyd, the body cam footage, just look up. I think it's Tampa Bay TV. It's 1.5 hours. It's 45 minutes from two different police officers. Very, very interesting footage. All right, I might do a video on it eventually, but it's been so long now of George Floyd, and so I thought I'll do a video on Nahel. I'll call him Nahel or Nahel, because it's got a lot of parallels with George Floyd too. We got the same thing. The cops are bad. This guy's innocent. Police brutality. Blah blah blah. But once you dig into it, you get the same result as George. It's like, no, this guy was in the wrong. So basically, we've got this footage up here, and this is apparently the passenger of the car of that day, and he gives his version of events. I'll just put my little earbud in, and we'll have a listen to this. It's in French, so that's why I've got the video up with the subtitles here. So it starts off. I wanted to film this video to establish the truth because there are a lot of lies on social media about the death of my friend Nahel. So he's assuming that we're going to believe him, and I don't believe a word he says because I'll run through it. It's so full of holes, and I'll bring some other evidence in as well. Here we go.
Cette vidéo pour rétablir la vérité, car il y a plein de choses fausses qui tournent sur les réseaux, sur la mort de mon copain Nahel, et je vais vous raconter l'histoire de A à Z.
So he's going to tell you the story from A to Z on Tuesday, 27th of June at 8:10 a.m.
On s'est retrouvé mardi 27 juin à 8h10. On nous a prêté la Mercedes. On a décidé de faire un tour.
This is where I just started laughing because it says we were borrowed the Mercedes. So he's claiming that they borrowed a Mercedes. I'm sort of thinking, hang on, this kid's pretty young. So I did a bit of background research. So I'm thinking, what's the driving age in France? And so I looked at here, legal driving age in France, Googled it. It's 18 years. This guy's 17, so basically he's underage. So the minimum age to obtain a driving license is 16 years for a motorcycle, 18 years for a car, and 21 years for buses and cargo vehicles, right? The guy's driving the car illegally, even if it was borrowed. And it brings the point, well, who's lending this car to an underage guy? So he's basically throwing whoever they borrowed the car from, which I don't believe they borrowed the car. I believe it was stolen. They're just throwing them under the bus because now they're going to get into trouble for giving this kid keys to a car when they know that he's underage. We decided to take a drive around Nanterre. So, and they go, we were neither under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Who cares, You're illegally driving a car. After a few minutes, we found ourselves in the bus lane on Avenue Jules-Curie. It's like, no, basically, we found ourselves in the bus lane. It's like, yeah, you were hooning around. And I think in France, they've got dedicated bus lanes, which you're not meant to be driving in. So they were just acting like complete idiots, basically, weren't they?
Au bout de quelques minutes, nous nous sommes retrouvés sur la voie de bus sur la Joliot-Curie. Nous étions en train de rouler quand j'ai aperçu les motards.
We were driving when I saw the police motorcyclists who started to follow us. Yeah, because you're in a stolen car and you're driving in a bus lane. Who's this guy? And shame on Daily Mail for, well, I appreciate them actually putting the video up because I'm doing a video for YouTube on it, but shame on them for giving this idiot a voice, this passenger who's just lying through his teeth and basically inflaming the situation because he's making out that they were innocent and the police were doing everything wrong.
De la police qui se sont mis à nous suivre.
Started following us. Yes, because they must have seen that we were colored people from a distance. That's why they started following us. They were all racists. It's like, no, you were doing something illegal. That's why they started following you.
Ils ont mis les gyros.
They put on their flashing lights.
On a fini par
We ended up stopping at
Rue
Rue Pasteur Francois Argot. The first policeman asked Nahel to roll down the window, and Nahel did it. He rolled down the window and he said, "Cut the engine or I'll shoot you." Well, shall we believe that's what the police said to him? Let's assume that that's what they said. So basically, why didn't he cut the engine? Because if you look at the video, actually I won't show the video because it shows him being shot. There's a video, I'll leave it on in the comments, in the description. It's from France 24, and they actually show Nahel just flooring it and trying. So obviously the engine was not stopped. So keep that in mind. He was not complying with police. He did not stop the engine.
Est venu à demander à Nahel de baisser la fenêtre, ce qu'il a fait, Nahel. Il a baissé la fenêtre. Et il lui a dit, coupe le moteur ou je te shoot.
So he's basically saying, playing the victim here that these police were over the top and saying, I'm going to shoot you.
Et il lui a mis un premier coup.
There we go. So here we go. The victim narrative again. It's like Meghan Markle, isn't it? Then he struck Nahel with the butt of his gun. And then the second officer arrived.
Crosse.
You want to back up.
Ensuite, le deuxième est arrivé, il lui a aussi mis un coup de crosse et s'est placé au niveau du pare-brise face à Nahel.
And also hit Nahel with the butt of his weapon and moved next to the windscreen facing Nahel. Ugh.
De là, le premier policier qui est au niveau de la fenêtre lui braque une arme.
What is going to happen next? At that point, the first officer put a gun to Nahel's temple and said, "Don't move or I'll put a bullet in your head." So basically, what's happening, I believe, is he hasn't shut the engine off. Cops are getting worried he's going to flee and maybe cause an accident with the innocent bystanders, maybe run over the cops or whatever. You need to shut your engine off, mate. So obviously they're trying to force him to shut off the engine, which he didn't do because when you see the video, they actually he drives off.
Pas où je te mets une balle dans la tête. Le second policier lui dit shoot-le.
Again, why hasn't he shut off the engine? His friend admitted. We'll go back. So you go back. He says, "Cut the engine or I'll shoot." So he's not complying, is he? Which is what the police said, that he wasn't complying. So here we go. "Don't move or I'll put a bullet in your head." Oh, also very dramatic, isn't it?
Policier lui remet un coup de crosse. La voiture, c'est une boîte auto.
The second police tells him to shoot him. The first policeman hits him again with the butt of his gun. Oh dear.
La voiture n'était pas sur parking.
Shut your bloody engine off.
Il a reçu le troisième coup de crosse. Son pied.
The car is automatic and wasn't in park mode. When Nahel received the third blow from the butt,
a lâché la pédale de frein et la voiture avançait. Et le second policier qui était au niveau du pare-brise.
His foot released the brake pedal and the car moved forward. Ah, don't be stupid. If you switch the motor off, it's not going to be moving, is it? And the second policeman who was at the windscreen fired his weapon.
Du coup, son pied
What a clown.
Foncé l'accélérateur.
Mate, you're a fucking clown.
Et je l'ai vu agoniser.
So Nahel put his foot on the accelerator. I saw him in pain. He was shaking. We hit a barrier. I was afraid. Oh, I got out of the car. I ran away. So basically, you try to run over the cops, then you flee. You fled the scene. Well
Oui,
done.
on a
You
percuté une
fucking
barrière.
clown.
J'ai eu peur. Je suis sorti de la voiture. Je me suis enfui.
You are a complete
Je
moron,
pensais
mate.
que même moi, il pouvait me tirer dessus. Du coup, j'ai.
In Australia, we'd call you a complete drongo, moron, dickhead. I thought they might shoot me, so I ran. I'm really shocked at what happened in front of me. To my friend, I'm not shocked at all. You basically didn't comply with police. You're an absolute risk of flight risk, and they shot you when you moved forward and basically put their lives in danger.
J'ai couru. Et là, je suis vraiment choqué ce qu'ils viennent de faire, devant moi. En plus, à mon pote.
Oh dear. So yeah. Actually, we'll show the video. Let's go on. This is the France 24 one. So you can see them there, the two officers. Let's just zip over to. So whereabouts are we? So there we go. Two officers there. This is when the car. So that's where it ends up. Ends up banging into a barrier. Very dangerous. They could have been bystanders there. Anything could have happened. They could have got killed. Putting people's lives at risk. I don't think they actually show the. Oh, here we go. So this was from another perspective. Let's have a listen.
The second policeman who was on the site has also been questioned by the inspectorate. As for the other two passengers in the victim's car at the time, one was arrested immediately as seen in the video and later released under witness testimony, while the other fled the scene.
It doesn't show. I thought this video showed it, but it doesn't show him. Oh, hang on. Is it right there? That's when they shot him, actually. Yeah, you can see the car moving off there.
It remains unclear who.
Yeah, so as you can see, the engine was not off. So why not just comply with the first thing the cop said is turn the engine off. So I did a bit more digging, and in the comments section here, we'll have a look. Let's make this a bit bigger. There we go. So this guy's sort of new, obviously, is from France and has been following his story. So it says, Nahel, who was in a stolen vehicle with no license, which I suspected, was known to police, particularly for resisting arrest, and in fact had been charged with resisting the previous weekend and 5 times since 2021. So they know this guy. His judicial file includes 15 recorded incidents, including use of false license plates, driving without insurance. Well, he shouldn't be driving at all. I'm assuming it's like driving without a license. And for the sale and consumption of drugs. France saw a rise in incidents of police violence in the years before the killing. In 2007, a law was passed permitting police to shoot at a vehicle fleeing a traffic stop. Very interesting. If the driver was putting the passengers or bystander at risk, another George Floyd incident, glad no one else was killed in the incident, if he complied with the law, he would still be alive. Absolutely agree with all this. So, what do you guys think? Leave your comments below. I'll put a link to the George Floyd video because that's quite very interesting that not many people have seen the full body cam footage of George Floyd as well. This has turned into another stupid bloody George Floyd thing, and of course just pile onto the police, trial by media, trial by the public who have got no idea what actually was going on, and just do your own research, guys. Don't believe what the mainstream media is pushing, and don't look at the surface. Have a bit of a dig. Have a look at what's really going on and form your own conclusions. I think you'd come to the same conclusions as myself. This guy was not some innocent being targeted by racist police. He was just a well-known criminal in the area whose time just came to an end, basically, unfortunately, and refused to go on a straight and narrow and comply with police. Thought he'd try and flee the scene. Didn't turn off the vehicle. Obviously, the police knew that he was going to try and flee the scene and wanted to stop the incident before it happened. And they couldn't stop him, so they shot him. There we go, guys. Leave your comments below, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.